it took COVID for us to change a lot, right? Like COVID pushed us forward to bring to light the technologies that allow people to work from home. It created, education from home. It created probably way more family time than a lot of us even were ready for, right? And one of the biggest deals is we've got this huge election. I think that it was a kind of a combination of, the polarization of the candidates, as well as the fact that we, in some states, were pre-sent, the request for ballots. We were encouraged to vote from home. So that's this year. In mind's eye, I'm imagining COVID maybe has another year run before we, really kind of have it under control. So how do we keep that same energy?
So, B, I think for me, particularly live as a district resident for over 25 years now, I think what Lavell just mentioned about grassroots, boots on the ground, phone calls, active engagement is an absolute necessity. For example, I think we should just really take a page out of Stacey Abrams' book. Like, what in the world did she do with her Fair Fight organization to literally turn 800,000 new persons registered to vote in Georgia? That is the playbook. But I will say, interestingly enough, I've become more involved and more interested in really learning about voter rights, voter suppression, the things that particularly Black and brown individuals and other immigrants have gone through. What I find particularly disturbing, however, is that even with everything that has taken place, I've had 4 conversations just within the last week of people who might have seen my IG posts or Facebook posts or people that I've worked with. Oh my God, congratulations, et cetera, which I'm extremely elated about and humbled. But there were still 4 particularly young Black men that were completely disenfranchised with the system and said they did not vote. Right. Because they did not like Biden and or Trump. And so I'm not sure if you or Lavell or Rudy can help me understand, particularly as young Black men. Well, you guys aren't young, but
damn,
these were young men in their 20s who were so disenfranchised about the political system that they just chose to not participate. We have to understand what the democratic process is. Rudy can help. Maybe he can help continue to explain and share and educate individuals for what that means, because he's probably most knowledgeable than any of us as to what that process really looks like.
So how do we make civics fly? How do you tell Maverick and his friends that this is why it's important?
First of all, let me say I'm the coolest dad you know.
I'm going to hang up on you right now.
So what it's been is that I've listened to their music and I enjoy it. I appreciate their form of hip hop. A lot of people don't like trap. A lot of people don't like Amigos or anything like that. But I find something in it that's interesting so that I can connect with him on that level, on his level, and as well as I'm giving him music from my generation. And if he doesn't like it, it's okay. But there's a lot of stuff that he does like. And then we go back and forth. So we communicate on a level through music that really binds us because it's all hip hop, right? So they've seen me as an election worker their whole lives. His friends have seen me as doing that. And so it wasn't really a lecture thing. It was just what I did. And so they felt it only natural to do that, and then we'd always talk about issues that were important to them. And I'd say, well, how do you think that gets to it? Like marijuana, they would talk about, the legalization of marijuana and the industry of marijuana and the cannabis industry in general. And I'd say, well, how do you think that came to be in DC? Like, it came to be because one guy was like, this white guy was like, I want it to be legal. I'm going to do an initiative to get it to be legal. So you have the power. It's one person that has the power to convince other people that are like-minded to do something about what they want. And so you can be a legislator. You can be the foment for change by doing an initiative. Every state has the initiative right. And so that's what I've been telling them and educating my kid and his friends, because this is the house. This is where everybody comes to meet up. So we always talk about everything that they're dealing with on their minds and in terms of what they didn't like about school. I was like, well, why don't you try to change it? Why don't you get into the school government? Or why don't you talk to the administrators about things you don't like? If you don't like the dress code, and this is my daughter's issues that she doesn't like the dress code. So it's like, well, why don't you go and get some like-minded students and then make a petition and go forward to the PTA and let them know that this is an onerous dress code. It only affects women. It doesn't affect boys. Mm-hmm. And they're like, huh? And I'm like, that's how politics works. That's how it is. That's how you govern yourself.